Wow, that's amazing. Look, I just want to film a quick video because I've been really doing some work and I've been working quite hard to get something done. And I've kind of found myself getting lost in the details, and as a result, kind of getting flashbacks from my journey and back when I was a scared 17-year-old kid doing whatever I could to try and make some money for my family. And it really just took me back to a time where I remember I would pray to God every single night. I would always say, please God, give me a sign. Every single day. And I really just smiled when I was eating a snack before heading for the gym, because I looked up and I saw the sun just shining over at me and just glaring through the trees. And it really just reminded me of when I used to look for those very signs that I would ask for each night before bed. And because of that, I want to share some lessons with you. And the first one is that if you're going through a painful era or period of your life, embrace it. That will make your story all the better. The exact reason why I'm starting to grow a following on X now, and why I'm really quite optimistic about how things are going most of the time. We have bad days like today, for example, but things are going quite well overall. And it's because I'm sharing my story with people. I'm just being honest that, I really used to struggle, and I was a scared 17-year-old kid just running myself into the ground to try and create change in my life and to provide for my family and to do something. And I just share my story and people feel inspired, and that's why now I'm really starting to stand out and I'm starting to be able to grow, because people are relating to or just being inspired by my story. And I really like listening to or even reading Alex Hormozy's lessons, because I really quite relate to his story in a way. Obviously my story is really quite different, but it's kind of really quite incredible sometimes to see and hear from people who make hundreds of millions of dollars of how their beginnings looked and how difficult their story was, or their journey rather was, when they were starting. And Hormozy, of course, also had many difficult periods of his life, as did as the most successful people. We all start at zero, and the only place you start at the top is digging a hole. The second lesson I want to share with you is that you cannot lose if you do not quit. And that's something I used to tell myself almost every single day. Because back then, I really just dreaded the beginning of the day. I dreaded the morning. I did not want to get out of bed. And I know now why. And it's because I wasn't following my purpose, and I was just neglecting my natural abilities and not listening to that innate voice deep inside of me. And because of that, I was just destroying myself. And sure, I was, doing something and trying to create change. And, looking back now, of course, if I could go back in time, I would do something else, which, I'd be building a brand and inspiring people like I am now. But thanks to all that pain and that suffering, it's made my story that much more interesting. And sometimes I feel down on myself, as does anyone else, when, we experience day-to-day fluctuations. Like today, for example, is, kind of a bad day. But if I really zoom out and I compare where I am now to where I was, months or years ago, I really have made loads of progress. And really quite often we, feel guilty or feel down on ourselves because we feel like we're not making any progress. But the only reason we feel that is because we're so zoomed in and we're comparing day to day. When really, how our progress looks is like this, right? And it's slowly going up over time. And if you're to zoom out, you can see that on a long enough time horizon, it's actually going up. But day to day, you're comparing it to this, and it just feels like you're going up and down. And that's exactly what I felt like when I was running my agency, my SMMA. I felt like I would have a really, optimistic period. Something really good would happen. I would book in, 8 calls, and then I would have a really, really bad and pessimistic time where, like, none of those people showed up or anything or something like that. And that's just a huge part of life. But the only thing that really matters in the end is that you keep going, because good things do come, and life always rewards perseverance. So keep going and you will be rewarded. And the third lesson I want to share with you is one that I know now that I didn't know back then, and that is all suffering in life stems from not following your purpose. See, the other two I knew back when I was a scared 17-year-old kid. Or at least I tried to tell myself them. But I didn't know this one. Because back then, the reason I didn't want to get out of bed every morning was once again because I wasn't following my purpose, and I just dreaded what I would have to do in the day ahead. And each day I felt like I was just in a dark tunnel. And I just felt like there was not a photon of light at the end of the tunnel. And I just felt so lost and wounded and scarred, and I just felt like a beaten up soldier each day, just marching forward. But nevertheless, I would just tell myself, just one more step. And I would tell myself that every day. And it's thanks to that hardship that I found my purpose now, which is to inspire and lead the way for people to find their purpose and do meaningful work. Because when I took on my first few mentees to do some coaching and help them, I realized that this is what I love doing. I love creating, I love leading the way, I love guiding, I love inspiring, I love providing for people. And now, day to day, I actually just feel like I'm in flow. I'm doing incredible things each day, and I'm progressing, and I know I'm on the right path. And that's the incredible thing, and that's why I don't dread getting out of bed each day now, because I just know I'm on the right path. Whereas back then, I wasn't even on any path at all. I was in a dark tunnel, or that's what it felt like, at least. Whereas now that I'm following my purpose, I know that I'm on the right path, and that I just need to keep going, and I will succeed, and I will inspire people with my story. And that's what keeps me going every single day. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. I've got to go ahead to the gym. But I hope you found this useful, and I genuinely wish you all the best. Keep going, and never, ever give up. Ever. Giving up is never an option. No matter how wounded or scarred or in pain you feel, do not stop. Your future self is counting on you. I wish you all the best. Be amazing.